Hi, I'm Matt, and this is my cultural identity. My family immigrated from southern Italy in the 1920s in response to Mussolini deciding to threaten to shut down farming in everything really south of Rome. Many Italian farmers decided to flee. San Marco in Lamas is where my great grandfather came from. It's funny, at one point in Melbourne, where he eventually arrived, there were more people from San Marco in Lamas in Melbourne than there were in San Marco in Lamas. So, very small place. Very sadly, he came out here to work in Bairnsdale on an orchard, and he drowned not long after he got here, which meant my very brave grandfather, my maternal grandfather, came out here to take his place. So at 14, my grandfather, Sebastiano, went to work on the same farm in Bairnsdale and eventually moved to Melbourne and became a fruiterer at the Vic Market. So I have Italian roots on one side. The other side of my family has been in Australia for a very long time, back when the British were sending their convicts out here. They settled in Melbourne, and when we talk about systems of knowledge, I think of my own love of language, how I feel that language shapes the world and builds meaning, and that comes from my paternal grandparents. So my grandmother worked at a bookstore in Maya, and my grandfather essentially was known as an encyclopedia of just knowing things. He was an incredibly well-read person. So certainly love of language and building meaning through text. Two things which have shaped me as a teacher and a person come from my paternal grandparents. I have since married somebody from a completely different background to me. So my wife, both her parents were born in China, and we have two daughters. So another thing that I hold near and dear to me is the idea of intercultural understanding, and moreover that the arbitrary lines that we draw around different groups of ethnicities are really that they're arbitrary. And in my experience, through moving through different cultures, through family, also through basketball, which I've had a long time involved in basketball, you get to understand that fundamentally we're all the same, and there's a connection that can be made, and everything on the surface is just that. So my cultural identity is one of celebrating culture and trying to amplify the strengths of each unique culture.